After sweeping the Mets, the Phillies have dropped 4 of their last 6. Why I say not to panic and why that's perfectly falling into the plans for the Phillies to win the NL East. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. We are back. It is great to be here with all of you today on this fine Monday evening, 6:17 p.m. here on the East Coast, the 16th of August in 2021. My, oh my, this year's been flying by for everybody. As always, joined alongside my co-host. I'm not sure if I want to bring him in. You'll see why. Gavin Tony. Gavin with the fresh cut. We got a lot to go over. We got over a week of content to break down. Eagles preseason got underway. Sixers Summer League got underway. And, of course, the most important conversation right now, which is the fighting Philadelphia Phillies, who currently sit 1 game back in the National League East to the Atlanta Braves. The Mets sit 2.5 games back, 1.5 back of second place for the Philadelphia Phillies. Wild card very much out of the look right now. But, look, let's get right into it. It was 2 weeks ago. The Phillies were 4.5 games back in the division after losing to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They lost 2 of 3. They exploded that Sunday afternoon against Pittsburgh, went on a 4-game sweep of Washington, and then a 3-game sweep of the New York Mets to be 2.5 games up in the series. They would go on to lose 2 of 3 to the Dodgers, which arguably all 3 of those games could have been won by the Phillies, but due to unforeseen circumstances, rain, they were unable to pull through with them. And the Cincinnati Reds, who the Phillies dealt Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler in and only could win 1 game, of which neither of those guys pitched. That's quite a rarity. And when you play 162 games a year, those rarities are going to happen. So here's the question. And I've been Gavin, we've been talking about this for a while. I've been very adamant from the beginning of the year, and you can back me up on this. I made the claim that the Phillies would make the playoffs this season. I said it very clearly. I said that just analytically, if they had a better bullpen, they would have made the playoffs last year. Again, that was 60 games. This is 162. But the Phillies right now are so close to getting to the playoffs, getting back to a red October in Philadelphia. Again, right now as we're looking, the Phillies are 1 game back. Gavin, you texted me the other day you're worried about this team. I said it's in my predictions. As long as they keep their heads above water till early September, I'll show you why in just a minute here as I pull it up. Because now it's not just the Mets, it's the Braves as well. We got to keep an eye on. And, of course, the Phillies. And it's a 3-headed race right now. And I'm confident that the Phillies will come out on top. Aaron Nola, I'm worried about. I'll say that adamantly. This new guy, Kyle Gibson, love him. This guy, Ian Kennedy, had his struggles at first, but he's starting to come around and settle into his position. Zach Wheeler, despite a bad performance the other night, is the Cy Young leader for all bettors right now. He's the favorite to win the Cy Young Award in the National League. And Rhys Hoskins, this has all been done without Rhys Hoskins in the lineup. He expects to return tomorrow. I'm confident that with a combination of Rhys Hoskins coming back in the lineup, the pitchers, everybody's getting a good break and getting an easier schedule, the Phillies can get back on top. It's going to be a hard 2 weeks here. All right, we talked about this, Gavin. This is what we call the run. It started in that Pittsburgh series, and then it got some turbulence, as we predicted. And now here's what I'm talking about. The team of focus over the last few weeks has been the New York Mets. Spent a lot of money this year, and now they were in first place in the NL East for 90 straight days. That record ended last Friday when the Phillies beat them at home.
You were there. No, that's a major point.
And so here's when the run is supposed to happen. Here's the Mets' opponents for 12 straight games. Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers, Giants. The 2 best teams in the league. The Mets lost to the Dodgers the first game. They lost to the Dodgers in the second. They lost to them by a lot in the third.
They got destroyed.
They had to travel. They had a Sunday night baseball game last night in New York, and now they have to travel across the country to play tonight at 9:45. I'll be shocked if they win tonight or even have any players really playing to top level. They're winning 1 or 2 of these games total. In my opinion, the Mets are done. They just are. They got the Cardinals, the Red Sox, the Brewers coming up. They got to play the Braves the final week of the season in early October. I mean, this is just crazy. All right, and so now I think it's safe to say the Mets are done. Lindor's hurt. Javier Baez came in, he got hurt. Jacob deGrom's hurt. It's just not their year. Unlucky, whatever. But they're out of it. It's down to the Philadelphia Phillies. and it's down to the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have just had a really easy stretch. They played the Reds for a couple games. They won 2 of 3 of those. Honestly, that's a pretty impressive stat for them. The Braves are a good team. Remember, this team was up 3-1 in the NLCS last year before blowing that lead to the Dodgers. Of course, Ronald Acuna is now hurt. But here's their schedule for the next few days. They played the Nationals for 4 straight games, swept them. They play the Marlins for 3 straight, and then they play Baltimore. It's a cakewalk schedule for the next 2 weeks for them. But then their games get harder. They start playing teams like the Yankees, and then the Giants, and then the Dodgers. Here's what it is, Gavin. From Monday, August 23rd, so a week from today, also the start of Welcome Week at Westchester University, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. September 1st. So August 23rd, September 1st. Yankees, Giants, Dodgers, Dodgers. And now the Phillies. The 23rd and the 23rd, they're off. 24th and 25th, they play the Rays. And then they have 4 straight against the Diamondbacks and then 3 against the Nationals. That's 7 winnable games there, while the other team has losable games. Gavin, if the Phillies are within a game and a half or 2 games a week from today, they're winning the division. Done deal. Schedule's working. We're starting. This is the run that begins. Now we're gonna talk about this again. We're gonna revisit it. Here's September. Phillies play the Marlins, the Brewers, Rockies, Cubs, Mets, Orioles, Pirates for 4 games, Braves, Marlins. Except for the Brewers, which is 3 games. Every team on that list is below 500 by a lot. The Rockies are terrible. They got 4 games against the Rockies, 3 games against the Cubs, 3 games against the Orioles, 4 games against the Pirates. I mean, and then the Braves have to go. They go against the Rockies and the Nationals, Marlins, Rockies, Diamondbacks, and then they got the Padres. And then they have the Mets and the Braves, that 4 games. So I'll tell you this. September 28th and September 29th is and the 30th is a 3-game series, 7:20 p.m. in Atlanta against the Braves. That's when the season is going to be determined. That's when the division is going to be won. But this next stretch after this week's a little bit tough, and the Phillies have to take care of business against the Diamondbacks this week just to keep their heads above water. But starting next week, they got to go out there, they got to attack, and they got to make a big move against Atlanta to be able to get on first place and hold it this time.
Time out. I got 3 things for you. First of all, Zach, what are you going to school for again? Business, right?
Indeed.
Marketing, business. So, like selling, right? You want to like be a seller type guy, right? Like persuading, right?
I'd say so.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, this guy is one of the best businessmen. Zach, they should just hand you a degree right away in business because let me tell you why. He got me, ladies and gentlemen. The last time me and Zach went out for lunch, by the way, you guys want to join us one day, you most like Dennis PJ, sorry, we'll drop the day. He and I went out and I bought myself a Phillies shirt, you know, because we spent that whole time let's talk about how great the chance the Phillies have and everything. Like, tell everybody what went down that weekend. You went to the game, the weekend the Mets. You were there every game.
They swept the Mets. They swept them in 3 straight games.
My problem with the Mets is this: they're not the Reds, they're not the Giants, they're not the Dodgers, not the Padres, right? They're an above tier team that spent money and look at them. Spending money gets you 90 straight days.
They're 1 game above 500. They're going to dip below tonight.
That's it. The problem with the Phillies is this: they can't beat teams that they should beat or should be competing with. They should be on a level with the Reds and the Brewers and teams like that, but they're not. They're not on the level. And the reason why I named those 2 teams is because they're in the same division, but they both are as equal as great as the Phillies. The only thing is the Brewers have a 3-headed monster in pitching, or 4-headed with Peralta, Corbin Burns, and Woodruff, and there's one slip in my mind. But then you have the Phillies, and you say, well, you have Wheeler and Noah. Well, Zach, let's not even talk about Aaron Nola because Aaron Nola is not an ace. He has the potential to be. They paid him like one, but Zach, he's not. Zach Wheeler's ace like Roy Halladay Day was something really special, especially going a complete game. Zach, you were there for that. But after that, I mean, it's the incompetence to get runs when he's pitching, whenever he's playing on the mound. You can't get runs for him. And let's go to the Dodgers game, Zach. I'm a firm believer, and I had a discussion with one of my friends about this as well. We think that if the rain delay versus Max Scherzer on the Dodgers, game 1 never happens, the Phillies win that game. Aaron Nola was dealing, right? and Max Scherzer, they were going back and forth. Rangers what happens, Joe Girardi takes him out, and we all know what happens. The bullpen, where's the ugly head, and there it goes. Then you go to Sunday. It's like Aaron Nola pitched Sunday, right? Didn't look too good. It didn't look too good. That's the reason why I don't believe in this Phillies team. It's just incompetent pitching. The bullpen is trash. And it's like, let's talk about the Braves. And ladies and gentlemen, I know I bought this hat a long time ago. It cost a lot of money, so I'm wearing this. All right, Zach, I can't help it. I promised for the money. But when it comes to the Braves, they have guys in Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, and Dansby Swanson. Just those three guys alone are turning up this summer. Dansby Swanson, who I'm not really fond of, Zach, is going to be a 30 home run player. All three of these guys have stepped up majorly since Ronald Acuna's been hurt. And even at the All-Star break, they really turned up the heat. Freddie Freeman's still there. They're getting help from guys like Jock Peterson and Duvall, and their pitching's still good. So how can you be with that? That team is a plus team. Remember, Zach, that was an NL, the runner-up to go to the World Series team. They came in third place or second place in the NL. We're not beating that. You can't compete with that. If you can't compete with a team like the Reds, who only they have is the really good hitters, which, by the way, was ejected on Sunday, Zach. Was ejected, and Jesse Winker also didn't play as well. If you can't compete with that, how do you expect to go against a team like the Padres? You can't. I mean, Zach, they got to win, I guess. Whatever you want to call it. It was ticky-tack. You almost beat the Dodgers, but Zach, almost, you can't put that in the win column. This team is not built to compete in the playoffs. But as a Phillies fan, and as a guy that bought in due to Zach's great persuading and selling, I really think he doesn't need to go to West Shore. He just deserves his degree right away. I bought in. I bought his shirt. I'm all in. He has me watching every night, expecting something good to happen. But Zach, this run should be easy. But I have this quote for you, and it's a good. And Stephen A. said this: "What can go wrong will go wrong." And we'll just watch. They won't let us down. Just watch it. September is going to come. For once in August, they're actually being somewhat competitive. But when September rolls around, they're going to crumble. They're going to fold. And me and you are going to be sitting up here mad as we always are about that.
I mean, that's part of the history of this team the last 3-4 years, except for last season. They kind of were out of it early-ish in the late summer. But again, it's not about heads up. This isn't a 5-game series. This isn't a 7-game series against Atlanta. This is just have more wins than Atlanta does.
It's a race, but I don't think it's a race they can win.
That's all that matters. If I take a look here again, I'll talk about losable games, meaning that a game that they are expected to lose, or teams they play that have a better record than them. Yankees, Braves, Giants is 3. That's 5 right there. Another 3 for the Dodgers is 8. Keep going down. Another 3 for the Giants is 11. 14 including the Padres. So 14 games. 14 games that they're playing against a team that has a better record than them out of the division. Now, if we go to the Phillies, they got 3 against the Padres, 2 against the Rays is 5. 3 against the Brewers is 8. That's it.
Don't they get the Miami Marlins in there too?
Well, that's a team in the division and a team that they should be. That's 8 versus what, 15 or so? That's a big difference, Gavin. That is a big difference. That's a 7-game difference in competition. The Phillies have a cakewalk schedule once to get out of this next series against the Padres and the Rays.
It's like you're talking about a team like Miami. You're talking about a team like Washington. They struggle versus a team like that.
Well, they have to not. That's the key. The key is, look, the reason that the Phillies division is interesting, it is a really good division, despite the fact that the records don't look like it, because every team can beat the other team on any given day. The Padres, the Dodgers, the Giants, they can beat up on the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks, who had a no-hitter the other night, by the way, against the Padres, which is pretty cool. But usually they can beat up on those teams. And if you take a look at most divisions, if I pull up the MLB standings again, the Pirates have a .356 win percentage. Diamondbacks have a .319 win percentage. The Orioles have a .328 win percentage. And the Rangers have a .356 win percentage. The Nationals have a .424 win percentage. That's substantially better. The worst teams in our division are some of the better worst teams. So they're always tough competition.
But when
so it's not just the Phillies who are going to play them. It's not just the Phillies playing the Marlins. It's not just the Phillies playing the Nationals. It's also the Braves and the Mets too. So that's something to consider. It's about the only games that I brought up are out of division, and what I've seen was that there are 7 to 10 more games that the Braves have to play that are objectively tougher than the Phillies have to play in this final stretch.
But what makes teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and all those teams good? Not only do they beat up on the bad teams, they also beat up on each other when needed to. Zach, how many times have we seen the Dodgers and the Padres face off? It's been one too many. The rivalry's not even that cool to watch anymore. But it's one of those things where you have to be able to beat good teams amongst yourselves. The Phillies can't do that, and they could barely, on a given day, and Zach, in a 4-game series versus Miami Marlins, they could lose 2, they could lose 3 out of that. Teams like the Dodgers, if the Dodgers would have lost last night, it would have been a surprise because of how magnitude of a statue there. They beat up on everybody. In order to be a good baseball team, you have to be able to beat up on the bad teams and beat up on the good teams. And when you beat up on a bad team, if you lose to that bad team, it should be a shocker. For Phillies, it's not a shocker. We expect this.
Well, it's not. The Marlins and the Nationals aren't as bad as the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. It's that simple. This division is a tough division because there's no terrible, terrible team.
It's a 4-game set.
The bottom line is that the Braves and the Phillies have a very similar schedule. The only difference is the Braves have a much tougher couple series as the Phillies have much easier ones, which the Braves and the Mets had earlier in the year, and the Phillies have that in the back end of the year. That's just my simple thought process. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Anything else you want to say on the Phillies before we talk about the return of the MVP, Fernando Tatis?
Is it a 4-game set on versus the Diamondbacks for the Phillies?
It's 3.
3?
Let me get some confirmation on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that should be a sweep, but mark my words, it won't be.
That is 3 games.
That should be a sweep, but it won't be.
We'll find out. Anyways, before we do go to commercial and shift over to the NFL as it continues to heat up, as well as talk about some potential for fantasy football, so stay tuned for that. Fernando Tatis starting in right field yesterday, Gavin. 2 home runs, 3 hits in his debut back from the IL. Some thoughts on the potential MVP?
That's a bad man right there, Zach. I mean, your shoulder's busted. You miss, a good 15, 10 games. You come back and you blast two home runs, and you're not even playing in your right position. Zach, that's MVP. I understand with Bryce Harper. I understand the numbers. We argue numbers, but it's also about impact too. Sometimes Bryce has a major impact, but this guy is doing it on a day-to-day basis, it feels like.
Without a doubt, the Padres fighting for a playoff spot. They would most likely be playing their rival, the Dodgers, in a 1-game wild card. That'd be a fun one to watch. Probably would be, I don't even know, I guess Yu Darvish or Blake Snell or Musgrove against Walker Buehler or Max Scherzer. That'd be a fun matchup to watch. Anyways, coming up after this.
Oh, real quick. I'm sorry. Field of Dreams, Zach. We just no.
The Field of Dreams. What a great game that was in Iowa.
Field of, first of all, Zach, Iowa, all places. I didn't know that movie existed. The Field of Dreams, Tim Anderson with the walk-off. You can't ask anything better than that. MLB, there's one thing I ask you. Don't put bums on that field. We don't want to see the Diamondbacks. We don't want to see none of them on that field. You gotta keep it with the playoff teams. You gotta keep it with teams like that. Zach, that's just my opinion.
They chose the right teams for it. It was a really good game, a really great 9th inning. It was really fun to watch. For those who haven't watched the movie, it's a great movie. I recommend watching it. For anyone who knows the history of baseball in the 1919 World Series, that was a really, really fascinating time in baseball, and it was a really great film altogether. And just watching that in real time was just amazing.
Tim Anderson, baby. That's all I got to say. I can't believe he did it to my boy Aaron Judge, but Tim Anderson's that man.
Quite possibly. All right, so coming up after this, the NFL is close to being back. How did we like the Eagles' first preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Could Quez Watkins be the wide receiver that they were searching for? And is Jalen Hurts going to be the franchise quarterback moving forward? Stay tuned.
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
All right, so the score doesn't matter. They lost by 7 to Pittsburgh. Obviously, that's not really what matters. But what does matter overall would probably be, I'd say, the first drive or two led to a field goal for Jalen Hurts. Eagles playing again this Thursday. Again, not necessarily big implications on the score itself, but bottom line is we got to look at some of the early starters, just some key stats from the game, trying to find them here. Joe Flacco, 10 for 17, 178 yards, a touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 3 for 7, 54 yards. Quez Watkins, 79-yard touchdown. Dallas Goedert had a 34-yard reception. Jalen Reagor had 2 catches for 20 yards. Zach Ertz had 2 catches for 20 yards. Gavin, takeaway from this first preseason game here for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Zach, the stats won't show, but Jalen Hurts was really accurate on that first drive. I only got a chance to watch the first drive, Zach. And let's talk about it. It says 3 for 7, but one pass was really low, which you could argue saying that Rager or whoever that was should have caught it. And there was one pass where he airmailed Quez Watkins, which, Zach, I think if Jalen Hurts would have watched that film back, he knows that's a deep shot. But the one that hit Zach Ertz in the hands, I mean, he's an all-pro tight end, Pro Bowler. He needs to catch that. The accuracy of Jalen Hurts is the first thing that stood out for me. I think it's going to get improved better, but it wasn't bad to start. And Zach, Quez Watkins, man, he grew into himself. He grew into this speedster, this speed demon. I like what I've seen so far from Nick Sirianni. He hasn't given up much, but I just like the basic route, Zach. That's something we always talk about. We don't need 15 to 30-yard routes. We need something quick and fast. I like what I saw to start the preseason off. I can't wait to see more. And pump the brakes on Joe Flacco, man. Quez Watkins, I saw that he didn't really do much else. Pump the brakes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree pretty much with what you said. We don't know enough yet. I'd like to see Hurts get another drive or two, but again, we got another month or so, a little less than a month until the actual season starts. So, I mean, time will tell. But Quez Watkins, I've heard a lot of good things about him in camp. Jalen Reagor, him and Devontae Smith could start popping. All of a sudden, you're looking at a really good wide receiving core that's young. And you throw a veteran in there possibly, or you have Zach Ertz and Goddard on the field together. That's going to be a really good combination. Look, this team is not going to be great this year. At least I don't think they're going to be great. They're coming off a really bad year altogether. But it's quite possible that they could make a run and surprise some teams, turn some heads. They do have the second best odds to go from worst to first in the division, number one being the San Francisco 49ers. But I think there's good reasons to feel good about this team. I wouldn't feel overly confident. But another big thing too, Gavin, Carson Wentz. I know people are tired of hearing that name. Carson Wentz is recovering well from his foot injury and is expected to start week 1. Why that matters? Because the Eagles could have a first-round pick from this. Gavin, any thoughts on that altogether? I mean, if the Eagles do get that first-round pick and Carson Wentz plays 70% of the snaps and makes the playoffs, or 75% with missing the playoffs, the Eagles would have 3 first-round picks next year.
I mean, Zach, that's his hardest job is staying healthy, and I'm not trying to knock the guy for his health, but Carson Wentz is not a terrible quarterback when he has time, when he has offensive line, when he has weapons around him. Zach, we've seen 2017. I mean, I know stop reliving the past, but I mean, there's videotapes on it. He's a great guy. He's a great quarterback, but health is his main concern. Zach, I would love to see him play 75% of the snaps. I don't care if they make the playoffs, Zach. I really don't. I mean, the Colts are a pretty good team when you got Jonathan Taylor and the crew, but just 75%. That's the number all Eagles fans are looking for is a 75%, Zach, and those 3 first-round picks could go well. I'm not really too fond of who's coming out next year in the draft. I have to watch a little bit of college football to understand the names. But let's just hope that the genius in the helm, Howard Roseman, doesn't make a quarterback selection because I know there's a lot of talks about getting Deshaun Watson. With Zach, we know with Deshaun Watson, we don't know where he stands legally and then a lot of things. But I'm interested to see how this plays out in Indy. I really am.
Yeah, look, quite fascinating. I'll ask you this because we were not happy about it when it happened live. The Eagles traded back with the Miami Dolphins. They got an extra first-round pick for next year. Traded back up to get Devontae Smith. They got the wide receiver they wanted. They obviously Jamar Chase was up there as well, but they got Devontae Smith, who could be the best wide receiver in this draft, arguably. Depends how it plays out. And they got an extra first-round pick for next season. I know I asked you this before. We've spoken lightly about it, but how would you grade the offseason for Howie Roseman so far?
Just draft-wise or
everything?
Okay.
Draft, trade, acquisitions, free agents.
For not having enough money, Zach, I had to give him an A minus because, I mean, the draft turned out pretty well when you talk about getting the guy that you needed. Zach, I wasn't really too fine. I think that it was that Thursday or that Wednesday, whatever those days, we came up here and I was blowing steam. I actually walked off when you talked about Mac Jones. I never want to hear that name ever again come about the Philadelphia Eagles, but I had to give him an A minus. He did what he could do best. He got the Eagles in the best position from a guy that's not really fond of Howard Roseman. A minus.
Yeah, indeed. If we take a look here at the salary cap, remember the Eagles were in a bad situation going into this. With all their draft picks signed, the Eagles still have over $16 million in cap space this season. Now, they got dead money. They got $49 million of it. It's worse than the Rams, actually, which is up there as well. But, I mean, that's a lot of good work. In 2022, they're going to be sitting at $3 million, so they got some room to do there. But a couple years down the road, 76 million, and then of course a couple years down the road from there, 177 million in 2024. I mean, you can call last season their tank, I guess. There could be no reason to trade Fletcher Cox. There could be no reason to trade Zach Ertz. There could be no reason to do any of that, for that matter. If the O-line stays healthy this year and Brandon Brooks played in his first live action in almost 2 years, it's up to Jalen Hurts. As good as Jalen Hurts is, how good this team is. They might need a year to blend and mesh for a lot of the young wide receivers. They might go out and acquire a veteran in the offseason next year. But that's kind of where I stand on it. And that's where this team is. This team is as good as Jalen Hurts is. If I'm Jalen Hurts, if I'm the franchise quarterback, that's exactly what I want to hear.
Keep Jalen Hurts upright. That's simple. He's going to make the play. He's going to be able to do what he needs to do. Zach, he's a competitor. He wants to get 1% better every day. And he stays 30 minutes after practice from reports, blending with his wide receivers. But Zach, this is going to work. This is going to be Super Bowl ready. So let's pump the brakes. But they could turn some heads this year. I'm not talking playoffs, Zach. I'm not talking division, but they could definitely turn some heads this year and shock a lot of teams. Now, the schedule is not in their favor with Kansas City and San Francisco. We don't know if it's Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. And Zach, Trey Lance looked decent in his first. I'm going to say decent to be nice, but the schedule's not in their favor, but they could definitely turn some heads in the second half. So I'm ready. I can't wait to watch. And also, Zach, I will say, with the Eagles season coming back, that means Zach Star Rants are coming back. I can't wait. The Monday mornings, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a fun one. But with that being said, coming up after this, as we begin to wrap up, the Sixers summer session, or summer league, I should say. Tyrese Maxey, Paul Reed looking good. What's the future of the Sixers? Ben Simmons posting some shooting videos. He's still a Sixer. Let's talk about it. We got a couple minutes to break it down after this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Let's talk about it. Ben Simmons is still a 76er. Tyrese Maxey had a very good summer league before he left abruptly for some family matters. Gavin, we got a couple minutes here to break it down. Ben Simmons still a Sixer. My argument is Dame or bust, or even arguably Bradley Beal, but some of those have been awful quiet lately. So what are some of your thoughts?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I don't care what Ben Simmons does. Cause guess what, Zach? It's cool. Me and you can shoot jump shots in your driveway. I could hit a putt in my room. Cause guess what? It doesn't matter. It's not in game, and he doesn't do it. I'm not asking him to shoot threes. It looks nice, Zach. It looks cool. It's a little eye candy, Zach. It's a little something for me to be like, oh wow, Ben Simmons, we're cool. No, it's fool's gold. Zach, what's the word I'm looking for? It's okay, I guess. I'm not sure. Look, ladies and gentlemen, don't be. This is bamboo. He's trying to bamboozle us, Zach. That's the way I want. Bamboozle. He's trying to do it. It's not going to work, ladies and gentlemen. I can see past Ben Simmons' stuff. And it's not. It doesn't mean nothing. It really doesn't. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's like, I don't know about you, but it really doesn't faze me. I mean, it's the same stuff every year. He throws a couple jump shots up. He puts a hype video on Instagram. He does that little steam blowing emoji, right, Zach? And then he says year 3 or year whatever or comeback season. And guess what? He does the same thing. I don't care. I really don't care. Zach, if I had a dislike button, if there was a dislike button on Instagram when he posted a video, Zach, I would have did it. I would do the dislike button. You know why? Because guess what? He's not in a Sixers jersey. He's not doing it in the game when it matters. Last time I checked, Zach, he gave up a ball inside the paint when he should have dunked it instead of giving it to Matisse Thybulle, who got demolished in the air. Don't get me started about what Ben Simmons is doing this all season. I do not care. Really do not care. You missed Australia. Woo, whatever. You didn't go to the Olympics. Who cares? Who cares? Show me when it matters the most. When you have the stripes, when you have the Philadelphia 76ers, when you have the Philly Unite or whatever it is on your jersey, when it says 25 Ben or Simmons on your back, that's when it matters. But anything you do now is just bamboozling the crowd and is putting us on this sell. It's like, what's up with people buying and selling, trying to buy stock into somebody that's not worth it? It's like, he's a great defender. He can do everything else, but Zach, The playoffs mentally killed him. He doesn't have any confidence in his jump shot or any confidence whatsoever. As you saw from the playoffs, Atlanta exposed him. So why should I be happy about this? I'm not. I really don't care. I really don't.
I mean, you're right. It's the same thing every single year. It's repetitive and all those things. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If it's not Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal, it's nothing because there's no other player, no other package in the NBA, no other package in the NBA that this would give the Sixers a better chance at the NBA Finals than either Damian Lillard and Joel Embiid together, or yes, Ben Simmons with the team still. That's why I've held that case for a long time, and I still think that it's true.
Daryl, and don't you bring James Wiseman and Andrew Wiggins over here? Don't do that. And whoever the new guy is, the rookie, Kamuga, I don't even know how to say his last name. No disrespect to him. We don't want that. I don't want that. Zach, do you want that? Yes or no? Do you want?
I want Damian Lillard. That's it. Only thing I want. Simmons, Maxey, some picks. I don't care. I want Damian Lillard.
I don't want Darius Garland. I don't want Colin Sexton. If you're going to trade to Minnesota, it better
I want
be
Buddy Hield. I want De'Aaron Fox.
I want Buddy Hield. I want De'Aaron Fox. If it's not Damian Lillard and it's not, can I get the little break in the little panel thing underneath? Can I get one of those? If it's not Damian Lillard, it's not Bradley Beal.
It's Damian bust, honestly. It's Damian bust.
If it's none of those guys, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it because we don't care. Zach, I'm here to tell the people, me and you don't care. Unless if it's not Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal, we won't care.
I think it's Damian bust. I think it's that plain and simple. That's my opinion on it. I'm going to hold to it. It's been quiet. They might run it back early in the year and then make a trade. I'm not sure right now. Damian Lillard has been quiet as well. But things will heat up again here as the season gets underway the same way that it did with James Harden last year. I'm confident in that. And we'll be here to cover it. With that being said, just kind of scroll through some of the general sports news. The FedEx Cup playoffs begin on Thursday for the golf world. We'll be covering that here as well. The Philadelphia Phillies will continue to cover. Every team, for that matter, will be continuing to cover here in the Philadelphia area. Just trying to read through some of the sports articles, top of the day. Not much else going on too much.
Carly Lloyd retired, sir. Don't forget
and that too. Top news story right here. Carly Lloyd, the U.S. soccer legend, retiring after tons of gold medals, tons of victories domestically, internationally. Great career for her. Congratulations and enjoy retirement. With that being said, Gavin, Olympics closed up last week. The United States wins with the most golds and most total medals. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up today?
Yeah, Zach, that U.S. women's track team, I can't run that fast. I can't. And I want to give congratulations to the both men's and women's basketball team for going for gold. Zach, that's amazing. I couldn't do it. I mean, in an environment where the COVID cases are high, barely anyone in the stands, you go and handle business like it's no tomorrow, and just run. And Alex and Phillips, congratulations too on that one.
Absolutely. And of course, a congratulations to both Xander Schauffele of the USA and Nelly Korda of the USA for winning the golds in their respective events for the golf championship. Great stuff out there as all these players continue. United States making a big noise on the international level all across the world. In Japan, the Chinese Winter Olympics begin in just a few months. We'll be covering that as well. With that being said,
Zach, hold on, bro. Sorry, my bad. Look, Katie Ledecky, I don't know how she does it, Zach. I really don't know how. I can't swim, and she has like medals upon medals upon medals. Zach, I like watching
Phelps up there.
Hold on, I like watching the swimming. Michael Phelps does too. I like watching the swim events, right? And here's why: because I can't swim. Because I know I'm not going to do it. I can't swim, so watching them swim is amazing. Congratulations, Katie Ledecky, and also Simone Biles. That was rough. That was rough. We didn't know what we were going through, but we're proud of y'all for anyway. And 4 years, we'll run it back. That's all I'm waiting for. 4 years from now.
See, for sure, 2024 Olympics will be fun. We'll be here to cover it, hopefully for them too, on a little bigger stage as well as we progress. But again, everybody, thank you so much. We'll be here a few more times this week. We got some more freedom in our schedules to get some amazing shows and continue to break it down, talk about the Phillies and a lot more. It's all heating up here late in the end of the summer. Thank you again, everybody. We appreciate everybody for watching when they can. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you all soon.
Have a good one, everybody. I can't swim. I really can't.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.